type of yoga I practice and I teach is basically power yoga, and it's very, it's strength, it's cardio, it's balance, it's flexibility, and it's a fast-paced class that I know appeals to many people in the military who need to stay in shape for their jobs and just in general are concerned with staying in shape. And so I give them that, and they get a basic workout, and they get to sweat, and they get to feel good, and they get to build muscle. But I try to sneak in more of what they need, even if they don't realize it. So things like doing some restorative poses, after we've warmed the muscles up and after we've exhausted them a little bit, that sure, they allow the muscles to stretch, but on a psychological or physiological level, it allows their nervous systems to just relax. It allows the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in so that they can escape that fight or flight response that we're in all day long when we're in stressful situations or in traffic or just dealing with all of the different things that we're confronted with in our busy, hectic lives. And so every class has at least 10 minutes of Shavasana at the very end, which is just the time to allow everything we did that session to settle in. But more importantly, it allows them a chance to just do nothing, which so many of us never consciously do. Sure, when we sleep, we're not doing anything. But if we're not sleeping, we tend to just be moving 100 miles an hour, or we're just totally zoned out, unconscious in front of the TV. And this is a very conscious relaxation that allows the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in and just brings this feeling of calm over the mind. And we also focus on breath work. A lot of my students have no idea, they never even think, they don't think about breathing because it's an involuntary, it's an involuntary response in the body. We don't have to try to breathe, but at the same time, it's the only involuntary response in the body that we can control. We can regulate, how fast or how slowly we breathe. And often when people are sitting at computers all day long or at their desk, their shoulders are hunched over and their chest is collapsed, and people breathe very shallowly and only using the top part of their lungs. And that just facilitates the fight or flight, nervous system reaction that we're in all day. If we're breathing shallowly, then it tells our minds that we are in this fight or flight state. And if we can instead learn to breathe deeply and use our entire lungs and breathe with the diaphragm, they can call it deep belly breathing too, it calms the whole body and the whole mind down. And it's just so healthy on so many levels. And the breath is the connection between the mind and body. So if you're trying to strengthen that connection, the most basic way to do that is with the breath. And so no matter what we're doing in the class, the focus is always on the breath. And I tell them I'd rather you sit on your mat and do nothing the whole class but breathe deeply than to try to do every pose perfectly, to look nice in the mirror, or to impress the person beside you without any focus on the breath. Because that person's going to leave all wound up, all competitive, all fight or flighty. And the person who is just breathing deeply and facilitating that mind-body connection leaves with an entirely different state of mind. And they've actually strengthened the muscle of the mind, which is the deeper, the more basic goal.